you love them for the very first time is one of the scariest things that you can do. First of all, you want them to say it first, but if you say it, you want them to say it back, and you want their reaction to be exactly as you imagined. When I was in college, I was working as program director at an overnight summer camp. We had a lot of international staff that worked at this camp. So I spent the summer falling in love with the head lifeguard, Kevin from Ireland. We had a summer camp romance. We were getting caught in rainstorms. We were falling out of boats in the lake and laughing. We were living Dirty Dancing. And we were getting closer and having such a great time, and I just knew that we were coming up to a conversation about our relationship where we would exchange the L word and tell each other that we loved each other, which would be the first time for me to say that and the first time for me to hear that. While this was going on, I was also helping to run camp. So along with the other admin on duty, I was making sure that things were running and that we were battling off the wild beasts and the skunks and the bats and the water snakes and everything that we would face, especially on night duty. Night duty is when we would go around and make sure that bats were kept out of cabins and staff were not doing inappropriate things. There were lots of animals that we had to keep out. There was this one skunk, this one elusive skunk that we were battling all summer. Staff swore that they saw it like hovering by their bedside or prowling around the staff lounge like stealing cigarettes, and we were just trying to keep away from it. So when I would shine my flashlight on the sports field, I wasn't sure what I was more scared of, meeting the eyes of that skunk or catching two counselors getting to know each other in the biblical sense. Because as we know, summer camp was invented so that kids and teenage counselors could lose their innocence. And we on the admin staff had to keep at bay all of this inappropriate behavior while running programs and keeping these wild animals away from us. So usually, while we were keeping the inappropriate behavior at bay, we were doing some ridiculous tasks that had to do with a theme week. Like when British Eddie got caught with a bottle of Jack Daniels that a 9-year-old found in his bunk. It was America Week, and it was the 4th of July parade. So the head counselors, Chris and Patrick, were dressed up, cross-dressed like Betsy Ross and Martha Washington in girdles and petticoats when they fired Eddie and deported him back to England. And Survivor Week, one of us would be like cradling a phone in our arm while trying not to like burn our fingers carrying a 10-pound pot of spaghetti with our bare hands. And on the other end of the phone, a parent would be bursting into tears while we were telling them the inappropriate things that the oldest boy's cabin had done with oven mitts stolen from the kitchen. So we're dealing with all of these things, and we're dealing with the skunks, and we're dealing with the inappropriate behavior. And while I'm on night duty out in my golf cart, patrolling, against contraband alcohol and against bats, Kevin would come with me. It would be a great date out under the stars. And one night we were out on the golf cart and I was on duty and we started getting into a conversation about our relationship. I was like, this is it. This is the night. He's going to tell me that he loves me. And I have been thinking about this moment my whole life. I had always imagined it as a kid that, one day I would be in some sort of chariot and there would be a guy in uniform, and there would be, I would have a borrowed frock from, some magical creature from a faraway land, and he would tell me that he loved me, and basically that's what was happening, because Kevin had his camp staff shirt on, and I was wearing sweatpants that I had borrowed from Marion from Scotland, and a golf cart is basically an open-air vehicle, and the camp curfew was midnight, so Cinderella is happening, and we are about to say the L word. So we're getting into a conversation, and Kevin's asking me how I feel about him. And then one of the ropes course staff comes by, and he's, chit-chatting. I'm like, can't you see? A boy is about to tell me that he loves me. Go away. I want to strangle him with his belay rope, finish him off with his carabiner. Finally, he leaves. Back to Kevin, telling him how I feel. He asks if I love him. My walkie-talkie buzzes. Somebody wants to know where the marshmallows are. Can't you find your own marshmallows? I have been waiting for this moment my whole life. They're in the summer office, in the cabinet, in the left drawer, not the right drawer. That's where the porn that we found in the 9-year-old cabins is, the right drawer. Go get the marshmallows. Back to Kevin. I do love you. He looks at me. He looks into my eyes. My heart is about to jump out of my chest. He's about to say it. He opens his mouth. Out from under the golf cart busts the skunk with a wild screech, and it sprays on us like a rookie fireman with no control whatsoever of his hose. Kevin screams, I scream, skunk, he presses on the gas. We lurch forward like it's a getaway car. We roll out like the Dukes of Hazzard. There's like a wild haze of smoke in my mind's eye. It's like gray and cloudy, and I'm reaching for Kevin and I can't find him, and he's running toward his cabin, and then I'm like, wait, my mind is in the jumble. At what point did he start running? I want to yell, are you running because of the skunk or because I said I love you? Did you put it there? But he's gone. And it is midnight and the chariot is a stinky pumpkin and I'm running up to the camp kitchen grabbing a gallon jug of lemon dish soap. I'm a scullery maid and I go and I shower for an hour. Telling someone you love them for the first time is one of the scariest things you can ever do, especially when you are out in the wild. Thank you.